Welcome to Along the Rock, brought to you by the Radar Free Press. I'm your host, Kaitlyn Blum. Today with us, we have Danny Langloss. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Kaitlyn. Thanks for having me back.
Of course. And you are the city manager, of course, for the city of Dixon.
I am.
So I've been keeping up with, what's going on in Dixon, and I know you guys are working on finalizing your comprehensive plan.
We're really close.
Yeah, so for those of us who don't know what a comprehensive plan is, almost every city, I think legally has to have one. So can you tell us, what is a comprehensive plan?
Yeah, comprehensive plan on a high level is a land use plan. So you're doing planning about areas already existing in the city. And so one example would be in residential neighborhoods. Are there areas to put additional housing and fill gap housing in, or maybe an area traditionally in the past had been single family, but is there an opportunity for multi-tenant and condos and stuff? So that you're looking at business districts, residential, those types of things, but then you're looking at future growth. And the comprehensive plan is a 20-year plan. They say it's a 20-year plan, but really you're supposed to come back and look at it at 5 to 7 years and refresh it. And some of the other things it looks at is based on where you want to grow and what you want there, how do your ordinances line up to that for what it allows? Because really, one of the things Dixon wants to do is be the easiest place to work with. Best customer service, highly responsive. We want to have our codes in line. We're not just, you can build whatever you want to, but just making the process seamless. And when you don't need zoning changes and you know what it is you want to do in different areas, it just makes it easier to get that done.
Yeah, so a long-term plan, it gives you direction and guidance on what you'd like Dixon to look like in, like you said, 20 years.
No, absolutely. You're bringing experts in the planning side because you're looking at a parcel and you're like, hey, what do we think about this? Residential is something everybody needs. And we look at future growth and we want to be the place people want to live. Where can we build out additional housing? And so they're helping us look at the areas you have water and sewer here, you've got a road structure, or this is a great area for this reason. And so now we need to think about, okay, within 10 years, we want to get water or sewer somewhere. We need to work with ComEd and get electric or gas there so you have those services. And one of the prime examples, the most successful example I've seen of that is in Rochelle and their industrial park. I mean, they build out their power, the rail, the roadways, and they're continuing to do that. And all the things you see, the development we see in Dixon, that it looks like the last couple of years that all happened, but there's a lot of planning and things that went into that led to that success.
So for this comprehensive plan, is it just once it's completed, is it just for the you to look at, or is this for other people? You're going to pass this around?
That's a great question. So there's been a ton of opportunity for community engagement, community surveys. It'll be on a website, and I don't have the exact website memorized, but people can go look currently at the draft. And when that's finalized, it'll be there for people to go look at. And they had interactive maps that people could use to talk about different needs in different areas. So it was really a chance we know obviously a lot about what we're doing in our infrastructure, but there's areas that maybe we haven't heard the sewer's failing, or there's backups, or there's road issues. We try to stay on top of all that, but it's a lot. And so people were able to give their perspective on what some of these challenges are as well.
Oh, that's really cool, getting the whole community's perspective on what the needs are and what the future needs are of Dixon. So,
absolutely.
So how would the comprehensive plan affect people's daily lives?
Well, I don't know that it impacts their daily lives, but when we look at development and what we're going to go after and try to recruit, be it retail, food, industry, jobs, housing, we want that to fit within our comprehensive plan. So the comprehensive plan is a playbook. It'll actually have goals and some timelines that we want to meet those goals. One of the things, and it's already in the works, is the development of Bloody Gulch Park. We have, issues downstream towards the downtown where we have some flooding in that. And so this park is going to have a retention pond. People will be able to fish there, but it'll also connect our pathway from the bridge that's being built and where it comes out on 7th Street there, all the way up through to Gateway. And so this really is kind of like the playbook. You're kind of predicting the future, and you're seeing, if maybe you don't know for sure on things, but you see what areas are best situated. So people can go and look at that and say, what's my community planning? What are some of the needs they've identified? What are the things people have said through the community surveys and input that we need? And it was also a great chance to make sure, like, we think we're in touch with the community, But this really showed the things that the community said we needed are the same things that we saw the need for.
Yeah, are there any other key aspects besides the Bloody Gulch Road Park that we're going to see in that plan?
I think, well, every aspect of town is covered with it.
Yeah.
But I think housing, we continue to hear the need for housing and also better jobs and diverse housing. So we need starter homes, single family homes, but we also need to think about we're working on this 55 and over development, and like, how do you build community? Because we have an aging population like Illinois does, and how do you create nice warm spaces where our older residents, our wiser residents feel more comfortable? And when you create that kind of community for them, they'll come and enjoy that to another level. So we're just looking at all kinds of things.
Cool. I bet one of the things you're probably looking at is the gateway. So how is everything going with that? Yeah.
Gateway is going great. The developer, Dixon Land Group, just broke ground on another multi-tenant. That's going to be the home to an OSF urgent care, tropical smoothie. There's 2 other things. They're not for public release yet, but those things were in the agreement, the redevelopment agreement we just did. So I feel comfortable sharing that. And then they're also looking at a potential quick coffee place. So there's probably going to be 2 more developments. And the cool thing, Kaitlyn, is that's almost built out. In 2 years, it went from farmland, and we did the infrastructure and all those things, won $3 million in grants, and now it's really built out, and we're heavy envisioning the 65 acres we purchased behind Walmart on Bloody Gulch Road. And for people not as familiar with Dixon, that's when you come off the tollway, that's that big open, farm field you see. Mm-hmm. So we're looking at housing there, more, retail, commercial development.
Wow, I mean, you're right. That's an incredible amount of growth already in such a short time period, and it just seems like the momentum is just still there. So that is really exciting. I do find myself going to that area of Dixon, even though I'm from Sterling, because there is, restaurants I don't usually see. There's some shopping there.
Yeah.
It's a great area.
Well, we're working with another investor developer now as well that's shown interest, and they're like, what's your wish list? So we're sending all these different things from the wish list, and some of them might work, some of them might not, and certainly the area can't handle all of that stuff. But if we got a couple of the key things, that'd be awesome.
It would. So I know you're working on some demolition for some absolutely condemned houses, you know what I mean? They're unsalvageable. But what I'm interested in is once, this ground is leveled, it's basically, a field of green or something. What is going to happen with those pieces of land in the future?
Yeah, that's a great question. Our housing plan is multifaceted. We have money that's set aside for a program to help people who maybe can't afford to do their roof or their windows or their front porch or their siding, things that really relate to health, life, safety, that keep everything closed in nice on a home and make the outside look good. For this project, it's a Strong Communities grant. We partnered with Lee County, Jeremy England, the county administrator, and we've identified 5 houses as part of this grant that will be demolished. 3 of those houses are in our next riverfront development, which we're calling Viaduct Point. That's the area between the Peoria Avenue Bridge, kind of down by where Kitzman's Lumber is, and the viaducts, which is where the new pedestrian bridge is being built. Mm-hmm. So those 3 houses will be leveled. That whole area will end up being leveled and open space, and we see commercial, multi-tenant on the first floor, condos on the second floor. We see potentially a boutique hotel, depending on the demand for a hotel. When our new Fairfield's opened up, that might be higher in condos. We're looking at bringing a brewery to town, and a few other really cool things for that area. Now, 2 other spaces where we're bringing those houses down, these houses are just failing. The foundations are failing, the roofs have caved in. So we're gonna knock those down, get the lots cleared, and then we're gonna put out a request for proposals. So we want a developer to come in and say, hey, if you give us these lots, we will build this. And so we'll create an agreement, because the point is, in these residential neighborhoods, we need the housing. Mm-hmm. So will they build a multi-tenant? Will they build a single family house? And so they'll present, presumably, a proposal for each property, and then there'll be performance matrix to where, okay, this has to be done within 12 months or 18 months or 24 months. Mm-hmm. And if it isn't, then we're gonna take those lots back because we want them developed. So it's a really cool program, and once you show success with this program, there's a lot of money out there from the federal side to do more. And so this is kind of like the pilot of that.
That's really cool. And like you said, I know across the board, Sterling Rock Falls and Dixon, everybody's saying we need new housing, we need more housing, every type of housing. So to hear that you have like an active plan, not only for like 20 years from now, but also like right now, it's really cool to hear that.
We do. And you know, the 65 acres we talked about behind Walmart, half of that's going to be designated for housing. So we're going to have workforce housing. We're talking to some workforce housing developers, senior housing. And then we're also talking with some people that own land, you know, across on the other side of Galena, and that would be the 55 and older market rate community that I kind of alluded to earlier. So quite a bit of things in the planning process. And then, you know, tying back into the comprehensive plan, if we hadn't been looking at these things long term, well, the water wouldn't be there, the sewer wouldn't be there. And these are expensive things. These aren't things you say, hey, we're just going to do this tomorrow.
Yeah.
These are multi-million-dollar, multi-year projects. And that's why the comprehensive plan is really important, because you're foreseeing what it is you're going to need and you have time to do it.
So that's cool to think about. So we were talking like a comprehensive plan from like 10 plus years ago. You were already thinking about like this water and sewer and like utilities.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And, you know, our comprehensive plan was really old. And we see the need, like towns have comprehensive plans. And so it's important to have that. But we've had our eye on the ball, you know, for many, many years in this area in the development. And the Lee County Industrial Development Association, years ago, the area where Rayner's at now and UPM and the new Bedell building, you know, they proactively purchased all that land, and then they worked with the city to develop the roads. So they were ready with an industrial park for all these good paying jobs that come to our area. And so a lot of times the person who works on the initial stages in the planning isn't the person that's, you know, finalizing the deals, or even maybe the person that's seeing it built. So it takes a while, and that's why these comprehensive plans are 20-year look out into the future.
Yeah, that is crazy to think. You know, I feel like some people are like, oh, it just, this giant factory appeared out of nowhere, when it was like 10, 20 years in the making. We just didn't know.
So the gateway where Chipotle is, we were in negotiations with the developer for a year and a half. Like, who was going to do what was the redevelopment and the incentives going to look like. You know, we applied for and won 3 grants that totaled $3 million. And it's crazy when you think about the cost of things, because, you know, when we did all this, the total cost of that infrastructure was around $4 million. Well, by the time we were done, after COVID, supply chain, all that, it was like $5.8 million.
Oh, wow.
But something, and we might have talked about it last time, it's important. Everything's happening out there.
Mm-hmm.
Those dollars are being generated from the new development.
Yeah.
We're not competing against the money to do the rest of the town. It's not like streets aren't getting done so we can do this development. They call it increment. So in the TIF we created, the new development and the property tax from the new development goes into the TIF and has to be used in that area. And one of the things is infrastructure. And based on all the deals we've done so far in the new TIF, the city's portion of that increment is just over $10 million. And that sounds like a lot of money. It'll be $20 million to do all the infrastructure upgrades we need to do, that retention pond we talked about, the pathways. Mm-hmm. And so we need more development to have the money to do that, to make sure that whole project pays for itself. And that's the beauty of TIF. But for the TIF, none of it would be done. Yeah.
We were talking, I think we explained TIF in the last episode. So if anybody's like, what is a TIF? Check out that last episode.
Yeah, we did a more detailed description last time.
But thank you, Danny, for being here with me today.
Well, I'm excited, Kaitlyn, the opportunity to share with the community and report out on what's going on in their town. And I'm excited about what's happening in Sterling and some of the development that's supposed to happen on the south end of Rock Falls, because when one of our communities does well, we all do well.
Exactly.
And we keep building on that momentum for the region.
Thanks. Well, thank you for being here today.
Yeah, thank you.
I want to say thank you to our listeners and to our production crew as well. Remember that the Radar Free Press is free, so we do rely on those likes, shares, and comments to keep us thriving. And if you want to see more videos like this, check out theradar.org.